It is now my honor to introduce Dr. Giulio Licinio, Senior Vice President for Academic Health Affairs, Executive Dean, and Dean of the College of Medicine.
Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to be here and to welcome our first-year class to the white coat ceremony. So I'd like to introduce some of the key people who will be here, and then I'll make I'll say a few words. So first I'd like to welcome Dr. Aliane Esperance, who is the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs at the Binghamton campus. Dr. Dennis Daly is the President of the Medical Alumni Foundation. He's the class of 1983. Dr. Julie White is the Associate Vice President for Educational Services and Dean of Student Affairs. Ms. Amanda Balch is President of the class of 2021. Dr. Renee Mestad is Assistant Professor, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, and co-chair of the Canandaigua Learning Community. Dr. Dwemadi Reddy is Assistant Professor of Neurosurgery and Clinical Advisor of the Cayuga Learning Community. Dr. Sri Narshipur is Professor and Interim Chair, Department of Medicine, and Chair of the Cayuga Learning Community. Dr. Gary Johnson is Associate Professor and Chair, Department of Emergency Medicine, and Chair of the Seneca Learning Community. Dr. Emily Albert is Assistant Professor of Medicine and co-chair of the Seneca Learning Community. Dr. Kaushan Onavati is Director of Integrative Medicine, Upstate Cancer Center, and Assistant Professor of Family Medicine and co-chair of the Skinny Atlas Learning Community. Dr. George Stanley Jr., class of 1994, is Assistant Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology and will be our guest speaker today. So I'd like to make a few comments at this point, and I hope I don't take too long, but there are a few things that I really would like to convey to the class. So first of all, this is my second white coat ceremony. I began here in July of last year. So when I began, I was very new, and I thought, what comments can I say? So I tried to look up the words of famous doctors and famous people involved in healthcare or who helped those who are suffering. So I quoted Mother Teresa of Calcutta and a few others. And then this year, I decided to do something a little different. So I had an experience in my life which really shaped my whole being and bent me towards medicine, which is that when I was 6 years old, I had a sister who at the time was 4, who was diagnosed with a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she died a few months later. So my family went through that experience, which is, was very challenging. And I thought, more than anybody famous or important out there, the people who have been affected by illness and their families should be given a voice. But I was 6 years at the time, and I really can't elaborate very much about what I felt at that point. And my mother and my father are both deceased, so I cannot talk to them and get their testimony. So I asked Dean White to ask one of the students to come up with a project to go and actually spend time with patients in our cancer center and give us the words from the patients and the family. So Ms. Amanda Balch, who is the class representative for 2021, did that project. And she gave me a summary of what was told her. So she talked to 53 different family groups. And I spent the last 2 months trying to come up with a better summary than hers. She gave me the raw material and then a summary. And one thing that's going to happen when you go to the wards and when you were wearing your white coat is that many of you will feel, I'm the youngest person here. I don't know anything. You have these famous doctors, professors, and chairs and deans, and you just feel a little bit intimidated. But I'll tell you this, that a lot of what you have to do requires intelligence, which you have as much, if not more, than most of us. So I tried for over a month to come up with a better summary than Amanda. And then this morning, I wrote her an email that I put the subject head. I said, I surrender. And I'm just going to read what she wrote. So, I've graduated from medical school 35 years ago. She's just beginning. And her summary is better than mine. So I hope that this can give you some confidence that when you go to the wards, what you can contribute may be even more than what some people who've been there for decades. So she asked the patients and the families, this was in the child cancer area. The question asked was, in your opinion, what's the most important advice that a doctor in training should receive on his or her very first day of medical school? So this is straight from the patients and the families. So the mother of a patient age 3 who had idiopathic thrombocytopenia, it's a blood disease, said, I would say compassion, because in order to be close with your patients, you have to understand them from their point of view. Another one had Ewing sarcoma. The patient said, I don't like when they keep secrets or don't really tell you. I want to know everything, because sometimes when they don't tell you something and they just do it, it's a little scary. I would rather like to know about it. Then Amanda said, so explain, don't tell, and the patient nodded yes. Then there was a patient aged 18 with acute myeloid leukemia, and I'd like to just make a parenthesis here that I had an uncle, my mother's brother, who died of this before I was born. So when I began in medicine, the first textbook that I had, Cecil Textbook of Medicine, I opened the page for the chapter for acute myelogenous leukemia, and it said, this is the most malignant type of neoplasm, and it's invariably fatal. So this morning, I looked it up in Wikipedia and said, this is a curable type of cancer, and about 50 people survive it, 50% of people survive it. So it's a huge difference. So for some of you, I really hope that you can contribute to this medical revolution and be part of the research, the research enterprise that has really transformed some diseases from being 100% fatal to now being curable. So the mother of that patient said, even though people say, I know and I understand, until you have a child that's lying in that bed, or you have been told yourself like you have cancer, or whatever the case may be, you don't know. You'll never know. You'll never know what it's like to walk through these doors every single day and see your child going from being vibrant and beautiful to, just lying there and being sick. The biggest thing I would say they have to do is don't treat the child like it's just another patient. That's someone's daughter, that's someone's son, that's someone's mother, that's someone's whoever. And I think about how, and you should think about how you want your loved one treated if it was your daughter or your son that was going through this. So the same mother said, take time to explain what's going on. When you walk through that door, it's not just the patient that you're treating, it's the family as well. Just always respect what the patient wants, what she needs the most, because at this point in time, it's not about me, the parent, it's not about the doctor, it's about what she wants, what she needs to make herself comfortable and better. Listen to the parent. Even if you can't change anything, you just should have your ears open and listen to what they are saying. Then a patient aged 15 with brain tumor, the parent said, getting to know the patient and the family, being very empathetic and understanding, and making sure that you're being very thorough in the charts. Another patient, this one age 5 with brain tumor, the mother said, I would say it's how to start a dialogue with your patient or family. Through talking and through being able to listen and start conversations with your patients, you'll open up more information or more history than just going to the science of the symptoms of what's going on. The father of the same patient said, you have to understand every single patient you go to. This is the first time a family is dealing with this, and they don't know how to deal with it. They are relying on you to give the information. They are relying on you to give them answers. So you have to be compassionate with them. You have to be understanding with them. There is a very big level of compassion and understanding that comes with the position. Just make sure you add a level of passion to your work. This is not a job that you can just go through the motions. You gotta have a lot of passion, a lot of drive and commitment to complete your training and be one of these people. Then a patient with acute lymphoblastic leukemia that, again, you should be fatal and is now nearly almost always curable. 15% are not. So the mother said, I think it requires, and this patient was also 4 years old. The mother said, it requires a lot of self-examination to say, you're walking into a room where you could change someone's life. And then when you leave that room, The person might be one of your many patients, but you have a diagnosis that endanger her life, and then the mother began crying. That has to be delivered with care. That needs to be delivered through a perspective of how would you want to hear it. Then then a grandmother of a patient with a brain tumor. The patient was 22 months old. So the grandmother said, each patient is an individual, and what works for one might not work for another. The father of a patient age 12 with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. You are the doctor, don't hide anything, be honest and truthful. Whatever it is, good or bad, be honest. Then a patient age 18 with osteosarcoma, it's a cancer of the bone. So the patient said, well, in my perspective, not in a medical way though, just in a way where they can feel confident, I would say that when you start to train, try to ask more questions so you understand the concept and where you're actually at. And feel free to be open about what you're asking about, or how, try to be active. Don't be scared, or, oh my God, I'm really doing this, or I don't know what to do, or be shy. Just go for it, ask questions, and do what you got to do in order to learn, in order to get where you need to be. So that's an 18-year-old with brain cancer. That's what he's telling you. So a 15-year-old with the same disease, acute myeloid leukemia that I talked about before, then you have the mother and the patient talking. The mother says, listen to the patient. I know patients don't always know what they're talking about, but ultimately, I think that sometimes just for sympathy or empathy, patients want that. They want to be heard first before you start talking and telling them what you're going to do. And then the patient, the 15-year-old, said, definitely write down all the things that the patient says, no matter what, even if they don't make sense to you, neurologically, physically, or emotionally, whatever. Ask them how they are in all states and forms, and make sure you write it down, because it might not make sense to you, but it's important to them. It could be a key thing to something in the future, who knows? And then the mother added, paying attention to small details is important. Then the father of a patient who is 5 years old with brain cancer, the father said, really, the only thing I can think of is, for new students, is just understanding what's needed for that individual patient, whether they are geriatric, adult, or a child. Then another patient with leukemia, age 18, the patient said, definitely always tell the truth, no matter how harsh it is. The father said, just to make sure that everybody's honest up front. If they don't know, just say we don't know, but we'll find somebody that can answer that, or find somebody that can help you. Be compassionate and be understanding. Try to put yourselves in our shoes. And a patient 6 years old with brain tumor, the mother said, one of the most important things is to keep somebody's spirits up. Once you lose them mentally, you lost them physically, They're going to give up. It's the most important thing, I think. So a patient with a malignant tumor said, always have doctor equipment and be ready for everything. A patient age 24 with neuroblastoma. Okay, well, for me, I'd probably say something like a common ground between bedside manner, and I also want them to know what they're doing. Like I'm entrusting my life to them. So I want them to be confident and competent, kind of like the good common ground between professionalism and also being social, I guess. And then the father of another patient with the same type of cancer, but this one is 2 years old, so he couldn't speak for himself. So the father spoke. I think a doctor in training needs to have that relationship with the parent and the child. They need to, a lot of doctors here, their hearts are very open. It's not doctor-patient, it's almost like doctor, and then the person stopped. I almost want to say family members, it's what they need to be like, because that child or person in front of you is somebody's child, is somebody's sister, is somebody's brother. So that's what I would think should be the first thing to do, to be better in your relationship with the patient. So these are like a summary of the comments that I like to read. And then Amanda tabulated the main comments in order of frequency. So the thing that people said the most is first and then going down. and then I took like the top 10 comments, more or less. So one was listen to both patients and parents. Get to know your patients. Simplify the language, explain more. Learn how to talk, communicate, and be personable. Be kind, friendly, and silly. Learn the science and be an active learner. And I'd like to emphasize that because you saw some of the patients said that you could be the most personable person, but if you don't know what you're doing, that's a problem. So you have to be very compassionate, but also learn the science and be a very active learner. Be relatable and be personable. Stay on top of things and follow through. Be thorough. It's not just the patient, but the family. And then be honest and understand that every patient is different. It's not, 100 cases of this. Each one is very different. So that's essentially what I like to say from, transmitting to you what the patients asked us to, and the parents, to tell you on your very first day. And then let's go back to the program here. Let me find myself. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Dennis Daly, and he's the president of the Medical Alumni Association, and I hope that one day once you graduate, you'll be very active in that association, and one of you will be here talking to us.
First, the Alumni Foundation would like to thank the Onondaga Medical Society and the Parents Association because they helped sponsor this program. The Medical Alumni Foundation is graduates of the medical school, which you all will be in 4 years, will go by quickly, that give back their time and money. We prefer their money to help them. We support the current medical students. That's what our job is. In addition to the white coat ceremony, we buy some textbooks. We have some parties and some dinners that we sponsor. One of your classmates will be on our board. We have an awesome office over on the first floor of the Setner building, and Paul Norcross and his staff, the door's always open. They have coffee, cookies, snacks. It's a great place to hang out, and they'll be your biggest supporters while you're here. Most importantly, we raise money for scholarships. This year we're awarding about $600,000 of scholarships just to medical students. And just to add on to what Julio said, I think this is a great setup because you get to see all the family and supporters that came with you guys today. I think compassion is the most important thing you can provide to your patients, and starting right now in your career and throughout your career, you will share in your patients' joy and their sadness, and that can be emotionally draining. And I think the best way to get your stores back is to stay in touch and make it a point throughout your career to take time to spend with your family and your loved ones and let them love you, because that kind of fills your tank back up, and you'll have a very rewarding career, and you'll always have that compassion that you need. So we hope to see a lot of you over the next 4 years. We hope you'll stay in touch. Hopefully some of you will stay in Syracuse and do your residencies and practice in the area, but wherever you are, we hope you'll stay in touch, and we hope to see you a lot over the next 4 years. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce to you Ms. Amanda Bouch, and she will be providing the student perspective on the white coat.
Good afternoon, and congratulations. Not only to those who sit behind me, but to those who sit before me as well. As you know, today is quite the momentous occasion. It marks the beginning of an incredible journey, one that has already required unbelievable fortitude on your behalf and unwavering support on yours. I again offer my most sincere congratulations. To say this journey is incredible is an understatement. You are entering a career where you have the ability, the privilege, of shaping lives every day, not just of patients, but of their families, their friends, of all the loved ones who care about them. 1 year ago, I sat in your seat, and I thought then that I understood the privilege accompanying this white coat. I must admit, however, that I did not begin to understand its true magnitude until this past summer, when I had the pleasure of working in our Waters Center for Children's Cancer and Blood Disorders. Through speaking with patients and their families, I sought to better understand what it is they truly want from us, the future physicians bearing this great responsibility, this great honor. I asked them a seemingly simple question. In your opinion, what is the most important advice that a doctor in training should receive on his or her very first day of medical school? As Dean Licinio shared, responses ranged from compassion in bedside manner to simplified language and spending more time. Several mentioned confidence and competence, but all wanted me to remind you of the human element so intrinsic to the practice of medicine. The children, specifically, requested more stickers and less shots. While each of these responses taught me lessons worth sharing with peers and integrating into my future practice, an even greater message soon emerged. Each time I knocked on a door and was welcomed into a room, I was welcomed into a family, into an experience. Story upon story, trial upon tribulation, I was so humbled to be let in. I soon realized that this privilege of being welcomed into others' lives, oftentimes lives in crisis, is the privilege we will be afforded every single day for the rest of our careers. Every morning we wake up and we don this white coat. We become a beacon of hope. At their most vulnerable times, patients will seek our help. When they are uncertain, when they have questions, patients will seek our knowledge, our answers. Amidst their chaos, patients will seek comfort in us. The grandmother of a young girl battling leukemia shared the following, and I quote, "Really you, the doctor, are almost the only person who can give them hope, because you can answer the questions, of which they have so many. I mean, they're processing what is going on and, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Then all of a sudden, you're there, and you start answering them. And then slowly they start to believe that this is going to work out, that they are going to be okay. You carry so much hope for the future. Indeed, you do. As you don this white coat today, I encourage you to feel the weight of it, both literally and figuratively. Imagine every thread a lesson taught by these patients, every stitch a commitment to their complete and compassionate care, the coat itself a sum much greater than its parts. Allow it to remind you every day of the incredible privilege this profession affords, that in getting to know, to learn from, and to help our patients, we are receiving far more than we can ever give back. In this vein, allow it to hold you accountable. May it inspire you always to be the physician your patients deserve, to fulfill the hope they see in this white coat. And allow it to do the same for you. The hope you feel for your own future, the excitement I know you are all feeling right now in this moment. Don't ever lose that. Don't ever stop chasing that. You have earned this white coat. You will continue to earn this white coat. Wear it proudly and do it justice. It carries so much hope for the future. Thank you. At this time, Dr. Julie White, Associate Vice President for Educational Services and Dean of Student Affairs, will read the names of the first-year medical students.
Okay, she's amazing, right? That was awesome. That is our everyday here. No pressure. So the class of 2022 will be inducted to the field of medicine and coded according to their learning community. Here at Upstate Medical University, we've taken the entire College of Medicine class and divided them into 5 different communities, intentionally grouping them into smaller cohorts so that they can build community and that they can receive professional development from the faculty and staff that are also in their community. Each community carries the name of one of our region's Finger Lakes. These designations were intentional to represent the commitment to the communities we serve here at Upstate Medical University. The students in each learning community will be coded by chairs or faculty members from their community, as well as student advisors from the class of 2021. The students from the Canandaigua learning community will be recognized first. Let's hear it, Canandaigua. Students will be coded by Dr. George Stanley, who is our special guest speaker today, as well as a clinical advisor there. And he will be joined by Amanda Bouch in the class of 2021. So, Canandaigua, rise. Gavin Ajami. How are you? Say it for me. Nicholas Angeloni. Go. Bame? Yes. Eric Bame. Go to Dr. Stanley. Capriati. Dante Capriati. Summer Carbone. Oh, your name. Tyler Carey. Can you say it for me? Shu Chen. Yelem Chung. Say the last, Del Nero. Christina Del Nero. Phoebe Dems. I'm going to go right to Amanda. Nisha Desai. Jose Daria Navarro. Rebecca DeFabio. You're going to go right to Amanda. Bethany Evans. Dominic Facciapanti. Acadia Fairchild. Natalie Forjor. Kadeen Forrest. Alexander Frost. Samantha Gage. Gentry Hearn. Sean Carote. Isaac Kim. Juhan Lee. Migzen Lee. Diane Matthews. Nicolette Nunez. John Perna. Sarah Rosenzweig. Rishi Shingal. Anastasia Yuseva. Zafuto. Brandon Zafuto. A round of applause for the Canandaigua learning community. Dr. Stanley, we're going to have you stay up on the stage there. You're going to help us code again. We're going to next recognize the Cayuga community students who will be coded by Dr. Stanley, as well as Dr. Reddy, who is a clinical advisor in that community. They will be joined by Brian Doherty and Catherine Pincus from the class of 2021. Okay, so you're just going to go to the furthest one. Okay. Okay. Juan Acosta. You're going to go to the furthest available person. Okay. Louis Aarons. Eugene Borst. Nicholas Brennan. You're going to go to the furthest one, okay? Buell. Colby Buell. Haley Burge. Sean Canizaro. Kyle Chin. Maheen Chowdhury. Amy Lisa Christoph. Angela Dang. Chelsea Jock. Sabrina Leone. James Lyon. Hello. You look like your brother. Christopher McGurk. What is it? Redion Petrella. Redion Petrella. Alexander Popovic.
Last name is Powers. Powers.
Okay, Kyle, you're going to go to the furthest person, okay? Kyle Powers. Rebel?
Yes.
Matthew Rebel.
That's me, Regan.
How we doing out there? We're good? I'll slow down a little. Okay. Bethany Regan. Oh, see? Anthony Russo. Sarah Ruthen. Timothy Schreiber. Catherine Schumacher. Ashley Shim. Julian Sitt. Roman Stika. Say it for me. Steingraber. Miranda Steingraber. Courtney Stevens. Neil Terry Carey. Sydney Tucker. Eden Zvornikanen. Pretty good. And a round of applause for our CUCA learning community. Oh, Cayuga, that was Cayuga, sorry, Cayuga. Now we're going to welcome our CUCA learning community students to be coated by Dr. Sri Narsipur, who is the chair of that community, and he will be joined by Catherine Bunch and Kaushal Patel, who are members of the class of 2021. Good idea. We're ready. Fatima Arafa. Sadat Badrutan. David Carey. Go right to Dr. Pedro. You're going to go right to Dr. Lucifer, okay? Soray Chi. Michael Conroy. Garrett Esper. Zachary Farina. Catherine Forty. Benjamin Friedman. Skylar Fustus. Ashani Garg. Ashani, I'm sorry. Joseph Glick. Okay, you're going to go right to Dr. Sri Narsipur, okay? So, tell me how's it. Martin Legitsky. Joshua Harris. Kathleen Heslin. Emily Kansas. Anthony Lee. Marcus Lee. Rakib Lema. Hi. Mateo. Yes. Tiffany Mateo. Ryan Murphy. Want to say it for me? Ishak Noble. Say it again. Ogali Obaro Best. Say it for me. Guillermo Polanco Serra. That's an easy one. Luke Sala. Hassan Saleh. Kelsey Shenik. Harsi Ranjit Sekon. Arian Tafreshi. Go right on out. Angelique Woods. And finally, Angus Yoon. And that's the Keuka Learning Community. Seneca Learning Community students will next be recognized by Dr. Stanley, and he will be joined by Michelle Fenty and Gretchen Goebel, who are members of the class of 2021. Seneca. Carolina Alexander Savino. Elena Capello. That's easy. Scott Cooper.
I forgot my copy. Okay.
Jordan Donegan. Donegan. Omo Efe Iboheman. Juliana Gonzalez. Michael Holcomb. Alan Host. Dennis Huff. Mubin Joffrey. Benjamin Jung. Benjamin Kaminsky. Hannah K. Ali. Dan Kim. Ryan Kimmis. Alexander Kaprovsky. Thomas Norrell. Stephen Lucas. Margaret Mandato. Alexander Nappy. Tan Tween Nguyen. Julia Norton. Iesoge Ojo. Femi Olotuabi. Moj Omaron. Luisa Ortiz. Go right around. Tasmia Prami. Alyssa Purdy. Julia Raleigh. Arnav Rana. Jamie Rogner. Sunita Singh. And that's our Seneca learning community. Our fifth group of students is from our Skinny Atlas learning community, and they will be coded again by Dr. George Stanley, Dr. Kaushal Nanavati, and they will be joined by Stacy Martinez and Josh Sen, who are members of the class of 2021. Skinny Atlas. You're gonna go right to the doctors, okay? Wait, okay, go. Nabir Amen. Miguel Avalos. Taylor Beckwith. Abigail Bideau. Thomas Biaganowski. Catherine Braun. Say it for me. Tegan Buscemi. Patrick Castle. Corey Imborski. All the way down. You're going to go all the way down to the end. Now say this for me. Oluwaseun Federo. Alexis Fox. Jacqueline Frandelig. Tyler Fuller. Say the first one. Fiorella Guido. Aminat Harina. Daniel Katz. All the way to the end, okay? Jamie Lee. Julia Ma. Yeah. Julia Ma. Joshua Matthew. Julia Mayer. Casey Maureen. Angeli Muesas. Kennedy Nye. Justin Patricia. Daniel Petroconi. Ponzo? Yes. Sean Ponzo. Michael Powell. Can you say it though? Nuveda Ravindranathan. Marissa Rice. Samantha Rogers. Hannah Smith. Almasa Tolovic. Megan Tatusco. Say it for me. Neha Vaidya. Malia Wakeman. Gregory Wetmore. Say it for me. Sultan Zain. Sarah Zainal Abdin. Alexandra Zawicki. And there we have Skinny Atlas. At this time, I will invite Dr. Licinio back to the podium where he will administer the oath.
Please rise and recite with me. As a physician in training, my patients will be my first concern. I will strengthen myself with the knowledge and compassion to care for them. I will acknowledge my limits, seeking help when needed. I will be gracious to my teachers and colleagues. At all times, I will never see in the patient anything but a fellow creature in need. This oath I take freely upon my honor. Please be seated. I'd like now to introduce Dr. George Stanley, MD, class of 1994, assistant professor in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, who has been invited to present the Welcome to the Profession of Medicine address to the entering class. I'd like to say a few words about Dr. Stanley, who is a Syracuse native. He received his MD from SUNY Upstate Medical University as a member of the class of 1994. Dr. Stanley completed his residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Upstate and was a chief resident from 1997 to 98. His medical interests include high-risk obstetrics, especially high-risk C-sections, treatment of abnormal pap smears, contraceptive counseling, and teaching of students. He's a member of the American Board of Obstetrics and Gynecology, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, and he's the recipient of many awards and citations, including the TAP Pharmaceutical Teaching Award for Excellence in Medical Student Teaching in 1995, 96, 97, 98, and 2013. He was recognized with the Alpha Phi Alpha Voluntary Faculty Teaching Award. And in 2018, he was a recipient of the 2018 Association of Professors of Gynecology and Obstetrics Excellence in Teaching Award. In his spare time, he enjoys traveling, participation in triathlons, reading, and spending time with his wife and 3 children. He's very proud to welcome the College of Medicine class of 2022 to SUNY Upstate.
Honored guests, colleagues, fellow faculty, students, family, and friends. As a graduate of the class of 1994, I am honored to speak to the class of 2022 as a part of the White Coat ceremony. This relatively recently developed event represents only a small but very significant part of the process in the indoctrination of your career in medicine. As you all sit here now, please quietly reflect on the excitement, joy, pride, and sometimes disbelief that you experienced when you first received the notification of your acceptance to medical school. For some, like I was, you may represent the only aspiring physician in your entire family. However, for others, you may be a part of an entirely medically oriented family. However, all of you have the admiration and pride of your families and those who have and will support you. The only time from now wherein the pride and admiration of the people who love and encourage you will be greater is when you cross the stage 4 years from now with your respective diplomas. It has been said that with great power comes great responsibility. You may not realize, but this very famous quote actually comes from the Spider-Man comic book series from many years ago. But this quote still holds true for you all on this day. By wearing your white coats, you are showing the world one of the most commonly recognized articles of attire worn by healthcare professionals. Moreover, by wearing your white coat, you are demonstrating your commitment to the ideas and ideals for which this profession represents. With great responsibilities also come challenges. There are countless challenges that you will be facing in your approaching medical career. Medical problems such as obesity. In 1990, when I completed my undergraduate studies and started medical school, no state in the United States had an obesity rate greater than 15%. By 2010, no state in the United States had an obesity rate less than 20%, and 1/3 of states had rates greater than 30%. You will be responsible for the safety, care, and well-being of these patients. There will be other challenges, such as healthcare disparities due to gender, racial profiling, income inequality, sexual orientation, refugee, immigration, new American status, opioid epidemics, and unique challenges in women's health. You will be faced with finding solutions to these challenges and will be expected to help make a difference to improve the health of all of our citizens of the world. Although many of these challenges may at first seem incredibly overwhelming, remember that you are not alone in this journey. Even though you, as an individual, need to study, do the readings, perform the physical exams, do the physical work, and take the test, others are supporting you. Your families, your friends, your spouses, your life partners, your pets, your kids, your professors, every one of your teachers that you've ever had, and countless others are wishing you well, praying for you, or just sending you good vibes to ensure your success. Some may even be helping you in ways you may not fully appreciate until later. The people who smile at you as they see you wearing your white coat in the elevator. The custodial staff worker with whom you may share the same ethnicity who smiles at you or regularly gives you a thumbs up. Even the food services worker who may regularly give you a few more French fries because it looks like you may need them. They all have your back. This journey is difficult. There will be many times in medical school, residency, advanced training, and beyond when you are going to be frustrated and at times overwhelmed, but you will all succeed. As I stand before you and think about the path that each of you is about to undertake, I must now reflect on my own personal journey in medicine that started more than 28 years ago. Despite all the many challenges, hardships, obstacles, swearing, blood, sweat, tears, times of sleep deprivation, and difficulties that I faced and each of you will face in your own way, no single career has ever been more rewarding, fulfilling, and gratifying than my career in medicine. Now with that, I say to you, formally, class of 2022, welcome to the profession of medicine. Please give them a hand. Give them a hand. Give them a hand.
So I'd like to thank Dr. Stanley for his very inspiring words. And I just would like to make some concluding remarks. And I'd like to note that I didn't didn't give like usual welcome very much to the students and to the families at the beginning, because I was very unsettled when I spoke to you about an hour ago. The experience of having witnessed my sister go from being a very happy, healthy young girl to someone who progressively lost all of her weight, her hair, and then became really just bone and skin when she died was very devastating for a 6-year-old. At that time, my father went into a deep depression, which he treated mostly with alcohol for 10 years. And all of us suffered a lot. So hearing the voices of those patients and the families really touched me, as I hope it touched you as well. So I'd like to move us from a much happier place now and say that during this medical school application process, all of you go through a lot. Pre-med can be really grueling. And I think the focus for you and with the support of your families has been to get into medical school. And some of you, I'm sure, when you got different acceptances, felt very lucky to be in medical school. But I'd like to tell you that it's not exactly the case. We are the ones who are very lucky to have you. And we are the ones who are very fortunate that you are entrusting your medical education to us. So I really would like to thank you for having chosen Upstate and for being here and for joining us into what I believe will be the most important journey of your life to become doctors. There may be some of you, I don't know who, if any, who came here and is here entirely on his or her own without anybody's help or support. So for that, or those few lucky people, my great admiration. And I think that for the vast majority of you, you are here because of the support of your family and friends. So I'd like to ask you to stand up and give them a round of applause. So we are absolutely delighted that you are here, and we'll do everything we can to make your journey as successful as it can possibly be. And one of the very special things about being a doctor, and that's actually why I came to medicine, because I knew I wanted to be in the field, but I was not sure exactly which specialty and which direction I want to go, is that you can do almost anything. You can be a brain surgeon, you can be a primary care doctor, you can be someone specialized in public health or in research. So you have a lot of different avenues open to you. And our goal is to make sure that you can pursue any one of those avenues. So if you need any guidance, if you're not sure about which direction to take or anything, my door is open, and you can also talk to Dr. Julie White or to anybody in your learning communities. And make sure that you talk to us early, because some of these different pathways are more competitive than others, and you have to be very ready to go through them. My goal is to make sure that you become the kind of physician that you want to become without any barriers. So if you want to be, a brain surgeon, we'll help you get there. If you want to, take care of patients in our local community, we'll help you get there as well. So, but to help you, you need to, tell us what you want and be proactive. And I hope all of you will be like that. So we are really thrilled to have you here. And I'd like to close this by inviting all of you to join the reception that's sponsored by the Onondaga County Medical Society and the Parents and Family Association of the Medical Alumni Association. Complimentary family photos for this special occasion are available to be taken in the Carrier Theater atrium. So welcome, and thank you to the families and friends.